remember when I lost my mind. There was something so simple about that day. When emotions they let go, so much space. Yeah, when you're out there, you're out of touch. Wasn't because I didn't know now. The truth is, I just knew too much. That make me crazy.
Hello, viewers. It is I, James Kalm, the menace, your half-assed reporter, the guy on the bike, and we're in Midtown on 53rd Street. We're gonna try to pop into MoMA and get some pictures of an exhibition. Stay tuned. Okay, well, here's the new Dilly Donald Odita mural. He's one of my favorite hard-edged formalist, colorist, abstract painters. Wow. More Dilly. Well, here is the exhibition that we came for. Hilma Klint. What stands behind the flowers? Oh boy. Well, you can pause your computer and read the explanation here. Okay, basically what they were saying is that by 1917, Hilma Klint had changed her practice from creating a bunch of large, sometimes monumental oil paintings to these smaller, and I believe a lot of these are works from sketchbooks and more like naturalistic studies, although they also combine her kind of unique organic abstract forms and some of her geometry. They were saying there were something like 46 of these. Well, Hilma actually studied at the Royal Academy of Sweden in Stockholm and was a well-respected natural landscape painter. This is titled Thistle, Watercolor and Ink on Paper. I think Hilma might have one of the most interesting backstories of any of the early modernists. She was almost totally unknown until an exhibition in 81, 82, The Spiritual in Art, out in LA. It's called the Nasturtium. Oh, you can see the fold in the paper there. This is the atom series. Scientific discoveries like the atom were the intense interest of Alice Klint and other developers of Theosophy and Anthroposophy, the Rudolf Steiner version. Okay, I think I first saw a couple of these back in the late 80s at the Drawing Center. I think they had a 3-person show of Hilma, Alf Klint, Emma Kuntz, and Agnes Martin. They simply have these dated. So this is number 5, January 12th, 1917. This is also January 12th, 1917. But these are really quite exquisite little abstract pieces. If you're familiar with her paintings for the temple and some of the other abstract work that she did, you know, that she did a wonderful series of works based on kind of geometric forms. This is really fine. And she keeps her kind of the quadrants of the square very prominent. It's January 17th and 18th, 1917. So we're talking about 110 years ago. And of course you could just take the little pieces of these and blow them up and you'd have wonderful abstract paintings. So these are some of the studies of her mushrooms or fungi. Calling that a clouded funnel. I think Hilma actually worked as a medical illustrator. She and I believe Anna Castle did anatomical diagrams of horses, you know, muscle studies and all kinds of things like that. These are number 3 through 9B, Group 3, March 12th to the 22nd, 1919. I've got a couple of catalogs of Hilma's work, and I've got the biography that was written by Lady something Voss, I believe. But I really hadn't had a chance to see a lot of these drawings, and this is extraordinary. Number 17 and 18 from Group 1, January 21st and 22nd, 1919. Beginning in January 1919, Alf Klint embarked on a program of daily drawing in 3 consecutive series. Squares and targets filled the sheets of Group 1 and Groups 2 and 3. She divided the page into gridded compartments, each dated and occupied by a diagram. These grids provide a kind of order even as her geometric and organic forms multiply, repeat and mutate within and between the sheets. Together, the drawings from the narrative that allude to pollination, reproduction, and evolution. By April 19th, 1919, after more than 3 months of progress, Alf Klint had established a vast and diverse diagrammatic language. The very next day, she began her nature studies portfolio. Oh, this one's a beauty. I don't read Swedish, but Hilma's got great handwriting, and so much of this relates to like tantric mandalas. other kinds of primordial, esoteric, or hermetic diagrams. It's called 14A21. Well, I mean, I don't have a complete understanding of what her intentions were with this. Kalm and Linden, July 29th, 1919. The naturalistic botany studies are fascinating enough, but then she adds in these mandala forms. I think she's got a little symbol and talking about symbols for each one of these. So she's kind of building a code of mandalic forms. Oh gosh, I should get my magnifying glass. Well, I always suspected this just from seeing some of her oil paintings in the show at the Guggenheim, but I think Hilma would be what I would call an unclassifiable genius on about 3 different levels. Anemone hepantica. April 22nd, 1919. Ghost willow looks like a pussy willow.
I got a magnifying glass at the end, so now I'm going back through all the way around.
European gooseberries. Red-tailed bumblebee. Oh, and here are some of her reference books, and they've got some of her samples that have been pressed between the leaves. Eine Versuch zu deuten, was hinter der Blumen steckt. Search for the meaning behind the flowers. Okay. So we got the bilberries, apple, common pear, woodland strawberry, common juniper, it's a white wagtail, got a dragonfly. Snag a magnifying glass. Horse chestnut. Well, I also have to think that at some point Hilma kind of broke off with her group of the femme, the 5 ladies who were working with her and doing the spiritual things and the seances and things like that. And she kind of, I think, possibly because of her contacts with Rudolf Steiner, kind of went in a different direction. Oh, this is a very nice one. True forget-me-not. European barberry. So maybe a few years after this, Hilma actually started to more conscientiously try to promote herself. One of the interesting things about sort of discovering her in the early 80s and sort of seeing how the scholarship has evolved is that they've actually started to learn a few new things about her career in the last 10 years. The dog rose. And I wonder what the story is with these drawings. I wonder whether these are still owned by the foundation. Suddenly it's gotten loud in here. Everybody's screaming. Everybody's excited. It's a corn poppy. Violet blossoms with guidelines, June 6th to July 3rd, 1919. These are more of her kind of standard abstract geometric forms. This is number 7C from series 7, March 6th, 1920. Okay, and I would estimate that that's 17 by 13 inches, something like that. And it's just on light sketch pad paper. And this kind of brings back some of her forms that were used a lot in her paintings for the temple. Pixie cup lichens, cowslip primrose. Well, I was talking about how she was working with certain ideas, evolution, pollination, male, female, light and dark. And one of the interesting things is that I was pointing out the kind of little symbolic forms, the mandalic form she's using. And even though she's probably cataloged, I don't know, maybe hundreds of plants, her little diagrams are all unique. It's a tulip. $1920. It's titled About the Truth. So like this, we've got a mosquito, it looks like, some ants, sweet vernigrass, European mountain ash, bulbous buttercup, barn funnel weaver. Gosh, it's also interesting to think that she may have been just going out there and spontaneously finding these things and again kind of receiving some kind of, I don't know what, subconscious diagrammatic inspirations. This title from the series On the Viewing of Flowers and Trees, 1922 watercolor on paper. 2 years after completing her nature series, Alf Klint continued her study of Swedish flora, but with a new approach. Though still engaged in careful observations, she abandoned exacting descriptions of leaves and petals and precisely rendered diagrams. Instead, she embarked on the fluid possibilities of watercolor to capture what she observed and envisioned in the natural world. Evanescent washes express the plant's aura, sensations, force, and spirit. Alf Klint went wet in wet technique, flooding her papers with color, was influenced by observational exercises developed by Anthroposophy's founder Rudolf Steiner in order to gain awareness of all that is invisible in ordinary life. Strangely enough, I was reading a little bio today on Helen Frankenthaler, and Gosh, I would have to say that these works by Hilma af Klint from 1922 look a lot like, or look like they're inspired by the same kind of ideas, at least graphically, that Frankenthaler was dealing with. Rosehip bush. Birch. So I guess she's channeling the spirits of the flowers. The seed's aura. So this has been James Kalm reporting on Hilma af Klint, what stands behind the flowers, here at the Museum of Modern Art. You can like this, share, link it up to all your social media sites. You can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews below, and suggestions. You can subscribe, and all we ask you to do is to say, well, first of all, thank you, Hilma af Klint, and also thank you, Kate. Alice Valentine, hey, thank you.